Everyone, so welcome to the latest installment of our series of InsurTech Insights webinars. So we have a really exciting discussion this afternoon on the topic of the art of customer loyalty. Obviously, this is a really big trend at the moment, and a lot of insurers are becoming a lot more conscious and cognizant of their customer appeal and the retention of customers in particular. So I'll very briefly go through a couple of the participation rules with this. So obviously, welcome to our audience members. If you are attending as an audience member, we have a few ways that you can get involved. So we have a Q&A section towards the end. So if you have a question, type it in the question box, and I'll try to get to as many of them as possible towards the end of the session. We also have a chat box. Obviously, we always love to hear where you're logging in from, and any other sort of comments or observations we have. I'd caution you, this is all public, but also say, yeah, obviously we'd love to have you get involved. So I'll be asking a few questions based on some pre-prepared topics, and then we'll move on to a Q&A section, and then the final takeaways of our panelists. And I think this is a good time to bring in our panelists. So as you can see, we have three great panelists from three very different and very interesting companies. I'll let the panelists introduce themselves, as I'm sure they can talk far more eloquently about themselves than I can. So yeah, hi, Joanne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. I'm really glad to be here. I'm working in AXA at the Group Emerging Technologies and Data. I spent 12 years working in insurance, always on digital topics, running today a team which specifically works on digital experiences across different touch points, and doing our best to leverage new technologies like, for instance, artificial intelligence, which is now very, very, running all the places. Having as well experience in different, I would say, type of industry before insurance as well, like banking, mostly yes, banking and other insurance, working in project delivery as well, different programs across different continents, not only Europe. So I was working in the US and as well in Asia. So that's a little bit the background. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. And we're so happy to have you. And obviously, yeah, that perspective of having worked within such a big company, but one that's obviously really looking to the future of automation is a very interesting perspective to have. Cool. So yeah, Asaf, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Asaf Henkin, co-founder and president at Sprout. We as a team come from a background of consumer data. Sprout is our third startup, and our previous one was called Contera Technologies, and we built a big data platform that the company was eventually acquired by Singtel out of Singapore. So I had the pleasure of running a business in the US, Europe, and Southeast Asia. We came to the insurance world as a very novice group. We still know nothing really about insurance. We're trying to learn as we go. I'm actually calling in from Kansas City on the road here today. We have an office and we have partners here. And the approach that we're taking with Sprout into the life and health, I should say, insurance space, is to leverage both a social trend where people are becoming more aware of their health, more conscious of living healthier, and also the abilities that data and technology enable us. And our goal is to reward people that live healthier, that want to be healthier. You don't have to be a health freak or a super athlete. Everyone can live healthier, and we try to use data and technology to recognize that, to understand that, and then to empower with a product and an experience that goes along that line. We're active in North America for about 1.5 years now, so we're selling directly to consumers and also via partnerships with brokers and agents, etc. We're growing quite fast. We're a little bit more than 50 people, and we're based across 3 offices. So New York, Tel Aviv, Israel, and Kansas City.
Awesome, thanks so much. And obviously, we very much appreciate. Because I assume it's quite early morning, probably only about 9 in the morning in Kansas. So obviously, thank you very much for getting up and joining us.
Yeah.
So and obviously, I mean, it's always so interesting when people get involved in insurance from other industries within tech. Cool. So finally, Johan, could you give us a bit of a description about where you're coming from and what you're doing?
Sure. Thank you. My name is Johan Sundström, and I currently work at Trustly Group AB. We're a payment company, a payment institution based out of Stockholm, but we have more or less a global reach, right? Before that, I used to work with a company it used to be called Affinion International, now and later CX Loyalty, and now Tenerity, and that company worked mainly with loyalty, and there I worked towards insurance companies and banks and similar. And before that, way back, I worked at a large Swedish bank. But today, in this role, as head of sales in financial services, I try to help financial service companies and, for example, insurance companies with the last mile, right? So just the payment bit that can be very, very crucial and a moment of truth for the end user. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be among such interesting and knowledgeable people in the panel. So that's going to be. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to hearing your perspective on things. Obviously, Trustly is a really legendary fintech, which is obviously very established in the payments business really quite early on, and obviously caught on something very interesting there. Cool. Well, thank you so much for introducing yourselves. We're really looking forward to the discussion today. I think you might have seen on your screens that we've put up a poll. So the question there is, do you think your company gets customer retention right? And obviously, we're still seeing a few more respondents. I'm going to close the poll in a few seconds. So if you haven't had the chance to vote, obviously, we'd love to hear from you. But the options are sort of absolutely, it's a massive priority. It's something that we think we do get right. Yes, big improvements are being made along the way. No, not enough progress is being made. And no, very little is being done. And we find actually people are pretty happy with what their companies are doing here. We have 32% and 35% respectively saying absolutely and yes. I'm going to give everyone a couple more seconds to vote, and then I'm going to close the poll. But yes, that's really interesting. I feel like people are probably quite optimistic about what their companies are doing, and I think this segues quite nicely into our first topic of discussion. I mean, the question here is, where do insurers lose customers along this journey? I'd be quite interested to hear, Joanne, your take on this. Start with, obviously, coming from this division of AXA, you'll have had access to a huge range of customer data. You'll have quite a few insights. So I was wondering, what would be your immediate thoughts to this question?
Yes, it's a very large question. I will try probably to put a couple of examples. Also, because just to remind my role, I work for the group operations, helping the entity. So we have a huge range of, in 57 countries, a huge range of companies, and also as well in different level of maturities. I will say that the insurance for certain products is still a complex word. This is not like buying probably a book in Amazon of other kind of product. And I think we really need to integrate still the digital with the physical, because today for insurance, even for millennials, people who are very used to the digital, it's a kind of product that requires a lot of human interactions. The buyers really wants to engage with a person. Probably they will look for information in that initial stage, but before buying, they really want to talk with a human, because they really need advice and complex product, like a life. And or maybe health, if you are trying as well to include chronic disease, or depending of the kind of coverage, you really need to engage with a person. So in a nutshell, the experiences that we need to build today, we are not reaching the desired level of maturity that other industries might want to, or might already be delivering to the customer. So many cases we are still not relevant, not simple, not personalizing the experiences as the customers that are today really demanding, because the technology gave a lot of powers to them. So the power shifted from the companies to the customers, thanks to technology. Probably we should not steer our customers, so just try to put, to deliver an omni-channel approach. So it's the customer who can choose in which touch point, in which channel they would like to engage. And to date, in the insurance company, especially for big companies that are covering many products, not for instance Lemonade, that is a very a recent company, I would say, created an InsurTech. We are not delivering this. And I think as well, with all the digital, we might be sometimes confusing, the powers of the agents. Again, I repeat, the insurance business is a business that relies a lot. The sales, the volume is really on the agents, the brokers, and this is something that we should focus in providing, tools, digital platform, to the agents, because yes, this is really one where the sales art. And well, I think I mentioned a couple of different reasons in which we are losing the customers. Just to mention another, I would say, critical point, another critical moment of truth, I think is claims. Claims is for sure a true moment that nobody wants to experience, because us as an insurance, we don't want, to have claims, of course, but also for the customer, is a product. No, insurance is a kind of product that you buy, but you would like to never, use, at least for the majority of the insurance products. So claim experience is a moment in through in which I think insurers can really lose their customers if they are not managing well that experience, which is really in many cases is a very emotional one, and yes, it's a true moment that we could lose, many customers along the journey, because many big companies, insurance companies, we are more focusing today in solving our problems, especially when you have a claim, prioritizing probably the point of view of the insurance, are not really, having the point of view and the perspective of the customer in a very critical moment, like a claim one.
Yeah, I think there are so many brilliant points in there. I think that central facet of the result of what happens when customers are empowered and customers get to have more of a say, and obviously that will impact the bottom line of insurers. And I think what you said there about solutions providing, I think is very interesting, especially, and I think it's probably a good place to bring in Johan, actually, because obviously you very much come from a different industry initially, and then obviously are now applying these practices and these skills to insurers. I guess, what's your take on this question? Where are these key pressure points? How do you diagnose the issue in terms of retaining customers?
Yeah, it's a big question, as Joanne said. So I would say that if you look at the population right now, or my feel for it, I know that perhaps Sweden is a bit more digitalized than many other countries, right? So we're far ahead. We're not the farthest, but we're pretty far ahead. There are basically 3 touch points, as I see it, when an insurance company communicates with their end users, and that is sort of when onboarding, and then at the yearly renewal of an insurance, and then at the claims process. And those are the 3 moments of truth, basically. And my take is that I'm not sure that, or my experience tells me that I'm not really with Joanne there, where people will want to have a human. You might think they want to speak to a human, but I'm not sure, because right now people in general are having shorter and shorter attention spans, right? So they want stuff fixed right away, and they want it now. So you have to reduce friction, especially in those 3 touch points. And heavy admin or talking to somebody on the phone, where you could actually just sign up easily on a digital, onboard on a digital, and also process claims digitally. I think the success of Lemonade and all the copycats out there, because there are a few that sort of looked at Lemonade, even incumbents have started sort of similar setups, new brands, tells us that this is successful, and not only for millennials or Gen Zers, or I mean, I'm neither a millennial nor a Gen Zer, and I really, really want a digital experience, right? But it's a big. You have to look at these 3 touch points. Coming back to where do you lose your customers? So first of all, you need to have a proper. You have to have a good offering, right? So it needs to be on par or better than your peers, right? Or you need to have something else that sticks out, and then you need to have to communicate more often or more better with your consumers during the lifespan of an insurance, because you don't want that. So the only email or mail they get from you is, oh, it's time to pay or renew your insurance. You need to have sort of an active dialogue with the customer, and that goes for all markets, not only, or all brands or all verticals, not only insurers. And then the claim needs to be super smooth and intuitive, and fast, of course. You don't have to approve everything, but you have to, when if you approve it or deny it, it needs to be fast, quick turnarounds. Sorry.
Yeah, I think for any insurtech disruptor watching, I think that's such a great explanation of how this chain of pressure points lays out. And there are these pitfalls at which point, if the experience isn't seamless enough, a customer can fall through. And I'd love to bring in Asaf here, because obviously, as the person in the room who has as I said, co-founded an insurtech. What's been your experience? And I guess, as sort of the second point on this slide asks, how have you found that's the best way to measure these points where you lose customers or where the experience can be tweaked?
Yeah, I think that it's an interesting and as my two panel colleagues here said, a big topic, and I sort of agree with both of them, because there's not one truth. And the way that we look at it, the data enables us to dissect and segment the population into various cohorts. And the answer is that it really depends. And the way that you prevent churn or losing people in the beginning, or even post-acquisition, really depends who they are. And our approach, and now that we've sold several thousands of life insurance policies, and life insurance is a complex product. It's not like Lemonade's renter's insurance. We are what one might categorize as a Lemonade copycat in a sense, in terms of the online digital flow, but the product that we sell is much more complex. There's underwriting, there's medical aspects, financial aspects, and it's a complex product, and that's why our approach is a hybrid approach. So when people come into the Sprout process, there are questions along the way. So first we ask them, do you want to share more lifestyle information? And even the queue that they are willing to share or not, that's a big indication for us. And then if they share lifestyle information, we know much more about them. And from that point on, the communication, and we have different templates for people that do certain things as part of their life or are interested in certain things. That enables us to communicate with them much better, much more effectively, because all the emails, SMSs, even the phone outreach is going to be along those lines. And we see that some cohorts of people, they want to buy online. They actually don't want to talk with anyone. If one of our representatives reaches out to them, they're pissed off. They don't want anyone to reach out to them. And we've learned that cohort, just leave them alone. And if they buy online, great. And if not, maybe send them a text or an email and in a certain cadence. And again, it's very important not to overdo it. Some people, they come in and they want to talk with someone very quickly. And the key there is response time. And the faster you're able to respond, and also the medium, right, to let them dictate. So some people really want text, some prefer to talk. So it's important to detect that and to enable your platform and your staff to do it in the right way. And then I'll say that it's not really about age. We've seen now people that younger and older, people, 60s plus even, that buy completely online. It's not about age. It's about preference, and it's about using the data. What we've seen is the
Asad, I think we've slightly lost you on the connection. Sorry, I think we your connection dropped slightly there. I think we missed the last few words or so.
Maybe I can come back to Johan's comment.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, when I was mentioning omnichannel before, was exactly what Matthew with Asaf was just mentioning. We need to give the opportunity to the customer to choose the right channel to engage with us. So what I was mentioning, the case of the face-to-face human contact was for very complex products. Of course, we are. I run the digital engagement, so of course I'm promoting, many digital interaction. My team is creating chatbots, and we are, of course, But what we are discovering is that you cannot, in insurance, you cannot go, 100%, of course, online, because for certain very complex products, the customers are, really demanding to have a human intervention.
I think that's
for conversion. Okay, I think he's come back. Or?
Yes.
So I think
we had yes, you're back in the room, and
it's the hotel's Wi-Fi. Sorry, apologize.
No worries at all. Yeah, no, we were just following on from that point slightly, and I think that point you make about the way we see customers is so brilliant, because obviously, as you said, there is no one customer, and as Johan just added, some customers have very complex needs and they need to have a really bespoke solution. Some customers really want a low touch interaction. Some customers, especially for life insurance, need something a bit more complex. So I think there's some absolutely fantastic points from this first section. We've just had another poll, which I'm just gonna close now, and this was on asking our audience members, in your role, how often do you speak to customers directly? And we put this to our audience because we're always intrigued, because obviously we can talk in abstract about this, but it's always really interesting to hear from people how much individual and anecdotal experience do they have with their customers, and how much they get to speak to them. And it's another really interesting set of answers. We find that 32% of people get daily feedback, and a further 32% get feedback most weeks. So I guess what we're seeing is, people are really finding their companies are starting to prioritize direct customer engagement more. and people and employees of all levels are getting potentially more contact with customers themselves. I think that leads us quite nicely into our second major topic area, which I guess so because we in InsurTech Insights we're always very interested in actionable insights, and so we're very interested to talk about, obviously we can diagnose the problem, we can talk about what the key issues are, but it would be very interesting to discuss in more detail what these proven tactics are for reducing customer churn. Asaf, I'd be quite interested to bring you back in, because obviously I think your last point got slightly cut off by technical issues, and I think we were touching on this point when we were sort of discussing with you about the ways in which different customers can respond better to different engagement platforms. I mean, what's your take on this issue? Like, what do you think are the most effective ways of keeping customers in the loop and within the platform?
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, for us, it's really led by data and analytics and a lot of multivariate testing. So we try to discover how to better segment the population and how to approach them differently. And we continuously test. We test messages, we test mediums, we test, if someone's on the site and hasn't done something for X amount of seconds, we try to engage, and how often do you engage? So there's a lot of testing, and the more data you have, the better it is. We saw that response time is critical, and as you're running a 24/7 type operation, you need to have also knowledgeable staff on hand. And for a product that is more complex, it's really critical, because there are tools that you can use, such as Intercom and the like, where you can automate responses to people online. But people want to, we think at least, people want to speak with real people and get the sense that they're getting real answers. So the ability to respond quickly, but also valuably and in context is really, really critical. And as I said earlier, the ability to do this across different platforms and really communicate quickly, but also on the right platform that the customer prefers. We see that payment is something that someone goes through a very long process, and then at the end, they pay, or maybe they paid, and after a month or 3 months, they want to change or they want to update. That's a critical point to prevent churn, to enable them to update payment or to manage their payment in an easy way. And also the ongoing communication. So we heard, we came into insurance, as I said earlier, we're still learning, and we always hear the sentence, insurance, there are 2 touch points, one at the beginning, one at the claim. We see something quite different. We see that that people have a lot of questions, and they want to change the product, they want to add cash value, they want to add a beneficiary, they heard about this, they saw an ad about that, and we see that if you're not responding, again, timely and with the right content, with real value, you're losing an opportunity to make your customer happier, but also it's risk for churn. So it's really about making sure that you are communicating ongoing and doing it quickly, the right medium, and in the right context, and with the right knowledge and content for that specific customer.
Yeah, I think it's some brilliant points, and I guess it boils down, doesn't it, to that balance of wanting to touch in with customers potentially more than the industry has done before, but also always doing it in the right way and making sure that it's useful and obviously automated correctly. And one of the points I'd quite like to touch on, which I think is also on the slide, is I guess a comparison to other industries, because as we've touched on briefly before, insurance, as I think you mentioned, is it's the point of purchase and the point of claim have traditionally been the points of key reference, whereas most industries work on that sort of recency and frequency basis of customer engagement. I'm quite interested to bring back Johan for on this topic, because obviously you've worked on the fintech side, as well as insurtech solutions providing. How have you found culturally this comparison has been? And do you think that insurance and insurtech are moving more towards this model of frequent customer engagement?
Definitely. I mean, I completely agree with what Asaf was saying, what we're saying, right? So, he disappeared.
He timed it well this time.
Thanks. Mic drop and left. So no, but I mean, we need to, or the insurance industry needs to add touch points and add valid communication throughout this, and this goes, but it never sort of exceeding and becoming into spam. But what Asaf said, that it needs to be relevant, right, and relevant to the recipient and relevant to the actual product, and that could drive traffic to your web page or to your app to sort of increase to add value and add availability or make it easier to upsell, increase the coverage or add more insure products or whatever. But I mean, the best proven tactic for reducing customer churn is actually to have a great customer experience, right? That if you don't have that, you can have all the added value available, right? But we did a survey a couple of years ago where we actually asked the question, so does the speed of a payout after a claim is approved, right? So it's not sort of will you always get money? It's just after a claim is approved, does the speed of payout affect your trust and loyalty in your insurance company? And 91% said yes, and almost 80% said would be less inclined to switch provider if their current insurer had instant payouts. So of course I'm talking about my sick mother here and want to push my own product, but I mean, payments are a really big thing, and claims as part of that sort of course, not as much for life because that is what it is, right? But this is talking from a more simple insurance things. But so a great customer experience, and that is very, very important. You missed when I was Asaf. You missed when I was praising you and what you said earlier.
Thank you.
To everything you said. But so that's my, and I think with the digital tools we have today and the communication channels we have, more frequent. You see this, right? Some guy from Voi or Lime or whatever the electric scooter in your city is keep emailing me about stuff and hi, it's me, George from Voi. This is so the frequency of communication from every brand out there is increasing, and in that you need to be super relevant and super targeted and using data and stuff like that. You can increase the accuracy basically, because spray and pray is not a great way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now we've all had that moment of having what seemed like personalized messages from various apps we've signed up for be completely irrelevant and seem quite robotic. I mean, I'll bring in Joanne here. I mean, what's your take? What have you found from your research and from the data you've seen is the best balance going forward of how to keep people engaged but without putting them off? Like, what's your take on this?
Well, first to say that I totally adhered with Asaf and Johan. And in our case, we think that normally companies focus more on customer acquisition than on customer retention. So at the end, you really need to take care of your customers. As my colleague here was mentioning, claims is a true moment to prove that that you really care about them, and also the fact of delivering emotional experiences, having omnichannel with relevant information, also anticipation. We think it's very important leveraging today data and technology anticipation of needs and anticipation of risks as well. This is something that we really want to achieve in order to be more relevant to our customers, because another thing that in AXA we are really pushing is from moving from payer to partner. So as they were mentioned, the two typical moments: you buy a policy and then you contact with your insurance company just in the moment of the claim. So we also want to increase the number of touch points, as Asaf was mentioning. In insurance, we want to protect our customers and to be there as well on protection, especially on health, and to have more relevant discussions with more relevant exchanges with our customers. Not only when they have to pay for a claim. So servicing is a key. Is a key element. For instance, call centers is a very important one. The fact to have, for instance, AI in call center to speed waiting, to have the possibility, for instance, using voice bot for the customers. This is very important for the technology, so you can speed up and for simple, I would say simple requests or simple services, but also to have a human. Again, I come back with the human, human for the more complex topics that really need to be dealt. I would say with a real agent, not a virtual one. So at the end, emotional experiences is very, very important to prioritize. And we have hundreds of journeys, for instance, to analyze. We are working in AXA, and you really need to listen to the customer, which is the most relevant channel, for each customer journey. And I think it's important as well the equilibrium between what you can have in the digital and what you can have, I would say more in the human touch. So again, I repeat when I start, we should focus more on customer retention and not on customer acquisition.
It's so true, isn't it? Yeah, that there is always that sense of it's not just about picking up the customers; it's about making sure they don't leave. And insurance products are so often products which are kept for a long time, and yeah, it's very easy to lose customers when they're not being thought about properly. So I'll move. I think before I move on to our final section, there's just one more poll question. So this question is: does your company currently measure customer advocacy? So yeah, this is ways such as social listening, Trustpilot, surveys, and other industry benchmarks. I'm going to give everyone a few more seconds to keep voting. I know it's been open for about 10 seconds now. We're having over half of people are saying that yes, this data is measured and it's really important to us. Interestingly, we have 20% of people saying no, this doesn't ever happen. So that's quite interesting, and yeah, that's quite an interesting result there. I think yes. I mean, I'm going to close the poll in about a couple more seconds. So yeah, I've just closed that. But the final results are really interesting. So it's 43% of people say this data is really important to us. But on the other end, we have 20% of people saying this doesn't happen at all. So which obviously, quite a stark bit of data there, especially after we've had some more sort of optimistic answers in the previous poll questions. And I think this is really interesting because obviously, I think it leads nicely into our final topic section, which is about making customers not only stay but be active advocates. I mean, I'll turn this first to Asaf, because obviously you're very much in the end-to-end business of creating a brand which customers will both buy a product from and then talk about pretty directly. How have you found that you can leverage data you get about what customers are interested in, what they want, and really make them brand advocates as well as customers?
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, it's a very big thing for us. Customer advocacy, customer satisfaction. We invest quite a bit on it, and I think the first thing is to recognize the importance, and that's sort of the first step. And once you do that, the strategy that you put into place, the people we have, people that are measured, and they have their bonus is based on how well are we going to be measured. And so I'm very proud. We're very proud of our Trustpilot score. We're very proud of our NPS score. We continue to send those automatically to customers, and that's an important tool to continue to measure. It's also a very important tool for us to discover what's not working as well. And just yesterday, I was speaking with our customer success team lead, and she said that she looks at the Trustpilot reviews and she discovers things that we need to improve, right? So that's also a very important tool for us. The other thing in terms of advocates that happened was we sent out, this is a while back, we sent out an email to several of them asking them, will you be willing to share with the community a video about your experience with Sprout? And we thought, it was sort of a test. And we were quite amazed by people, taking their iPhone or their mobile phone, going out to the park, taking a video of themselves talking about the Sprout and life insurance, a product that's not that doesn't elicit that much passion, but we got several such reviews. We're using these reviews. We asked them for their permission, obviously, and then we use them in Facebook video ads, on YouTube. And some of these are the best performing ads that we use because, I think people like to see authentic people talking about products and services. So I think that's really, really important. And I shared a few things that we do. The last thing I'll say is it has to be authentic and it has to be valuable for customers to feel that they want to share or they want to be your advocate, especially with a product like insurance, I think, or life insurance for sure. And the way we do this with Sprout is with the quality of life score that we've developed and the lifestyle data. And we offer people to do an assessment, and we there's some gamification there, and we share content with them. And it's a way to take a product that is fairly bland and turn it into something that is a bit more interesting and a bit more sexy, if you will. And that again turns into something that you can use as currency with customers to first get some response and get engagement with them, and then hopefully turn some of them into your advocates.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, as you said, like often advocacy is such a great, sincere, authentic kind of marketing. That's such an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, I'll turn this next to Joanne. Like, how have you found that it's possible to make customers advocates as well as consumers?
Well, I think that on top of what we have been commented. Also regarding to focus on retention, to have a solid retention strategy, okay, in place of to only focusing of new customers. I think that we have to deliver to our customers our promises. No, insurance is an industry that we take a lot. Sometimes we give back to the customer, but I think especially with the new demanding customer we have to date, we really need to give something back. Of course we need customer data as all the other industry in order to personalize and to have a relevant experience to them. But we need as well to start probably creating new products adapted, to our customers. Products in which the customers have, the power as a pay as you use. And I think, it was something that it was started in different companies. We also have started in AXA. They're trying to leverage IoT. For instance, the typical example is the driving. For the drivers, according to your behavior, you could have a reduction on premium. But I think we need to continue exploring more on that. We are not probably having a special loyalty program like probably airlines or other kind of companies. But I think we need to explore more on that. And it's what I mentioned before regarding the AXA strategy, which is called payer, from payer to partner. Because if you think, I'm not sure about the figure, but I think more or less 80% of the customers that buy insurance products normally they don't place a claim. So I think that insurance is really having, a big transformation and revolution, because we need to give something back to our customer. In the case of AXA, we are focusing more when we think in payer to partner in the health. We think that we need to give back to customer part of our protection promise by prevention. Having a specific, program that add more value and generates, I would say, more stick, with the brand, more adherence to the brand, and more loyalty. Working with them, engaging more. Not, I will say, in the sale of in the claims, but working a lot on the prevention, trying to add more value in the health, which is I think for many industry, many other insurance company today is a pillar, priority pillar for AXA. So yes, I think that we need to reinvent insurance and start giving something back to our customers.
Oh yeah, I mean, brilliant points there about exactly what we want the customer to see of insurance. Obviously, that's such a changing picture. I mean, just before we hand over to the Q&A section, I'd love to throw this over to yourself, Johan. And I mean, what's been your experience of customer advocacy from Trustly, from yourself, and also your partners?
Well, it's a super. This is the sort of the larger, the best question, right? So what the holy grail of what you're after. But I mean, it's a pretty simple answer, I guess. It's exceed the customer's expectations, basically. And if you can do that, they will be, oh wow, this is great. But I guess the problem is that the more successful you are, the higher expectations the customer has, right? So it's a super complicated question, but I think both Joanne and Asaf has been into some good ways forward here. I mean, in my old position, in my old company, we didn't work. We worked with sort of the smaller added value, right? To be able to increase the communication. So what we did, we built the ID theft insurance and sold that wholesale to large home insurance companies. And we went from nobody having this in Sweden in 2012 to everybody having it 4 years later. So it was in every home insurance. And the ones that didn't buy it from us copied us. They even, a very large Swedish and Nordic insurer, I won't name names, they even copied our terms and conditions, including our spelling mistakes. And that was adding extra value and exceeding makes it also sort of easier to exceed expectations, I guess. I really like the gamification part of the life insurance. That is definitely a sort of, can you walk long? Can you have more steps today than you had yesterday, or streaks and whatnot. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that taps into something very deep in the human psychology. I think when you can make insurance a sort of competitive, sporty thing, that is a brilliant thing. So what we're going to do a couple of the Q&A questions that people have been very kindly submitting. I'm going to stay on Johan. I'm going to stay on you and actually pick you up on that point you made about mobile experiences just then. So Henry in the audience asked a question: how can enhanced digital and mobile experiences reduce consumer churn? I guess, could you go into a bit more detail about your thoughts on, like what these, really tactile mobile experiences can have on consumer psychology and customer retention?
So did you say Johan or Johan?
Oh, sorry, Johan. Sorry.
Wow, me.
Sorry.
I mean, we're if we will look back to everybody to what everybody said in different questions here, is that so you need to have an omni-channel approach, right? And more people. I myself feel that more and more people want does things on their mobile, right? And it's mobile only now, and it's not only mobile first; it's mobile only, right? This is old news. But you crave reply or proper answers right now. So if chatbots won't suffice, I guess, because they're pretty stupid still. But it's important to have. Right, currently, it's still important to have a human behind the chatbot, I guess, or behind the chat. But chat and omnichannel is important. So making it available in mobile and that is the most important, I would say. A possibility to of course simplify claims processes in digital channels. That's also, you don't want to wait for physical paper forms to fill out, right? You want to complete it online. Take a photo of whatever it's done, if it's not live, of course. Then it's hard to take a selfie, I guess. But I mean, it's but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
there is a Swedish life insurance called Just In Case. They looked at it from another way. They're sort of like ASAP, right? Like Sprout. They try to rewrite the terms and conditions, or the whatever you call it, the policy, right? So making it easier, taking away the doctor and the health sort of clearance. So only to reply to like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 questions, like how's your lifestyle? Do you move? Do you walk? Do you bike? Do you train regularly? And then they underwrite that. So it's making the onboarding super simple. And they battled for like 5 years before they found a reinsurer that could take this risk, or were prepared to take that risk. But that's also one looking at it the other way around. Like, so how can we, because we're stuck in these old type policies, and redoing the policies from the beginning and the onboarding, that is also a pretty good way forward.
Cool, yeah. Thank you so much for that. I'll throw another question, which is actually our top upvoted question. So well done, Sabrina, for this one. And the question is, and I'll throw it to Joanne, because obviously your experience at AXA will, I think, have some very interesting context here. But the question is, how can incumbent insurers collaborate with disruptors to improve customer experience?
Collaborate with disrupted?
With disruptors. So insurtechs, solution providers, upstarts in the industry.
Well, we are collaborating in AXA in different countries with insurtech. In fact, the main AXA companies, like for instance Switzerland, Spain, Germany, they have internal teams that are in charge of identifying startups to co-create solutions and collaborate together. So we have different examples. Of course, we are working as well with Uber, an insurance as a service platform we launched, in which we protect drivers. Also, I think it was Deliveroo as well in Mexico. But we have different examples in countries with a startup. In fact, for instance, in Spain, OpenSurance that you can check probably they have as well different examples in which we are leveraging different startups. Even during COVID, we used to have a couple of events during the year in which we present different startups for which we collaborate and work together. It's not easy sometimes. Startups sometimes complain that they need to adapt, to contract, to big bureaucracy of big insurance company. But this is something very, very important for us. In fact, in AXA, we are pushing, initiatives like Global API. And the platforms we are building, for instance, the ones that was announced a couple of weeks ago by Thomas Buber, our CEO, the digital health platform that we are building in collaboration with Microsoft, it was launched with both CEO. This is a platform which exactly aims to that, of course, to have a vertical integration, but to have different health players in a global platform. So this is the kind of collaboration we are looking. Because of course we cannot, and we want not to cover, all the different roles that you need, in this large ecosystem, especially on health. So the build of the fact of building this platform like the health platform, insurance as a service, is exactly to have a way, to onboard different partners like a startup as well, to work together. So you can find information in different websites of AXA, and especially I will say on Twitter. But yes, we are delivering solutions with startups. For instance, in the case of the health platform, we are working with a startup for a symptom checker chatbot. Well, this is something that we are completely leveraging this technology for from this company.
Cool. Thank you so much. And obviously, it's so interesting to see this new landscape of collaboration between really big players and some quite new disruptors in the space. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the Q&A section. So I want to jump really quickly to Asaf, and I'm really intrigued to hear what would you say is your key takeaway? So your really central point. I guess from what we've been discussing, and more generally about the issue of customer retention, customer churn. What would you say your central parting message would be?
My central message would be two-part. Would break into two parts. First is to use data and insights as much as possible to segment and understand your customer base, and the second part is use the data, use the segmentation, use the analytics to take actions that really match the different cohorts. That's I think once you're doing that, you're in such a better place across all the journey and churn and everything.
100%. I think with that sort of nuanced customer segmentation is so important. Joanne, what would be your central key takeaway?
Well, my central key takeaway will be deliver emotional experiences for our customers. And I think the priority of digital should not be sales, but to leverage the technology like artificial intelligence and data to enhance customer loyalty and retention.
Fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of these really central points coming up of really making sure that customers are emotionally engaged. Finally, Johan, what would be your key takeaway?
I would say the most important thing here is to listen to your customers, right? What do they want, or what do you think they instead of guessing? So listen to what they have to say and act accordingly.
I think, yeah, it's succinct, but just incredibly true that, yeah, understand there is no substitute for understanding customers. I appreciate we are running very close to the end of the hour now, and that people will be wanting to, obviously, yeah, get along with their days. But thank you so much, all three of you. So, yeah, Asaf, Joanne, and Johan, thank you so much for giving up your time from various time zones and joining us here today. It's been absolutely great to hear your insights. And, yeah, obviously, we hope to hear from you all very soon as well. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone watching at home, and we hope you all tune in to future webinars. All right. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.